Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today is Tubi Tuesday. And today I had the award-winning producer of the movie One Bedroom. They have Aloka Mishra. Alok, how are you doing, my friend?
Good, sir. How are you?
Good, 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 good. So, huge fan of One Bedroom. So the first question I do have to ask you is, how did you get into the industry? How did you get started?
I got into the industry. I tested movies for a living. I did market research for film for 18 years, and doing that, you see a lot of shitty movies, and you think to yourself, "Well, I think I could do a better job than that." And so that was the impetus for myself, my partner, producer partner Shane Morrister, and us. We were doing that business to get in and put our hat in the ring and see if we could make something good. And One BR was our first movie, actually.
Okay. So if you could give any new individual who's going into the filmmaking industry, when it comes to marketing, what is the one tool you would give them?
There's many tools that you can use, but listen, if you have an original new film that is not some sort of existing IP, then you need to like basically figure out a way to rise above the noise because there's a lot of noise out there. There's like hundreds of movies being released like every fucking week, right? So you need to like figure out a way to sort of rise above the noise, and the way you do that is A, have a good movie. B, even if you have a good movie, people don't know how to market it. How do you market it? Well, I would say for certain films, horror films, for example, get into a film festival, get into a film festival of note, hire a publicist. You got to save money for these things. And if you can do the film festival circuit, get a good distributor, and then also, tactically figure out when and where to market the film. You market at each stage of its lifespan. So when you first release on TVOD, have a big marketing push then, probably your biggest, I would tell you. You're sorry, I'm going ahead of myself. If you have a theatrical, if you're lucky to have a theatrical release, put a lot of your marketing spend behind that, your publicists and so forth, and then also then when you go in TVOD, again another push for that. And TVOD is like iTunes and like Google Play and stuff like that. And then for SVOD, which is like if you get onto Netflix or Hulu or somebody like that, subscription based, do another push then. And then when you get onto AVOD, which is like it's free with commercials like Tubi and different things like that, do another push then, right?
Mhm.
If you have something that has sequel potential, then always keep pushing it. If someone calls you for an interview, just say yes. You always do the interviews. You always say yes because any little bit. Look, if like I don't know, 100 people go, 2,000 people go watch the movie on Tubi because of this interview. It was time well spent because that's at least like $200. Do you make $200 in 30 minutes? I don't think you do. I mean, maybe you're a doctor, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So, anyways, that's my advice.
So by the way, I love the movie One Bedroom. I just watched it 2 weeks ago. I saw it spin out for a while. Excellent movie. If you have not seen it, please watch it. It's a great horror psychological thriller. You don't know where it's going. So how long did
I
it
mean,
take?
I should say this. It's on Tubi, Peacock, Zumo, Plex, Roku TV, and Pluto TV. I think I'm forgetting something, but it's also on Shutter if you don't want to watch commercials. But if you
Oh,
watch it on the other ones, it makes us a little bit more money, if you know what I'm saying.
yes.
So,
The advertisement dollars.
yeah.
So how long did it take you to film this movie?
Started in 2017. It was a 15-day shoot. And we realized we needed reshoots, and we basically tried to get the band back together, so to speak, but we couldn't because all the actors were working like crazy, and our DP was working. And finally, we got everybody back together in 2018 in September, and we reshot the ending, and we reshot some scenes within scenes to just sort of bring some richness and more performance, sort of a good performance level kind of stuff to the table with it, and then we tried to rush it and get it into Sundance and all these different festivals. But here's what we learned from that is that don't ever submit unless you completely finish because it was just a fool's errand. We
Mm.
got rejected from 16 different festivals until finally it was ready sort of closer to May of 2019. And we had submitted to Fantasia, which between that and Citrus are the two biggest genre festivals in the world. And we got into Fantasia. And once we got in Fantasia, it's like, this is like a horrible sexist comment, but like the girl that comes back looking like the geek and like she's all that, and like then takes her
Yeah.
glasses off and twirls her hair, and like now she's like the hot girl and everyone wants her. So that's what happened to us. We then went on to do another, I think, 17 festivals all over the world. And we made sure we went to them and like kissed the rings and like hug the, kiss the babies and whatever, and like did all the press and publicity to get awareness out there for the film, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we ended the last festival in end of January, almost like when COVID was about to start. And sadly, we had COVID and didn't get a theatrical release, and came out in April of 2020. Got onto Netflix in August of 2020. Went to #1 on Netflix, and then we were on them for basically 2 years, and then now we're on the AVOD platforms, the pre-mentioned AVOD platforms, and that's the lifespan of what it's done thus far.
And I saw that during the filming in 2017, your offices were tragedy to the wildfires, and everyone had to come to your house. And
yeah, it was crazy. We had a lot of misfortune befall the production, actually, to the point that I really hate production, frankly. Like I don't want to, I go to set, I want to watch the scenes, I want to see them filmed, but like it's just a nightmare production. Most producers don't come to set. They just like, oh, I did my work. First week, I'm done. But I think that from having tested movies, we're very aware that you need to be there and kind of try to catch things if you can catch things there, because it's far more expensive to go back and do reshoots. But it wasn't only that happened to us. We had, we lost like all of our cast like 3 days before shooting. Nicole Bryden Bloom, who's the lead now, is amazing. She was our first choice. However, we had some other much, more popular actress who would have put us in the black right away. That was like this huge television actress that wanted to do it and then dropped out 3 days before we were going to shoot. And she made her hire her friend or alleged boyfriend. We don't know what the guy is. I can't say what's what, and I can't tell you who she is either, who he is, because of libel. But essentially, we lost those two, and then we lost the person that played the actress that played Miss Stanhope. Her husband, like, this is on the same Monday that we lost the other two. Her husband collapses, rushed to the hospital, is dead. And so we had to like recast that role. It was just a nightmare. And then during the production, like, I don't know, day 8 or something, we had a truck stolen. It was involved in a high-speed chase. And, this guy, they caught him. They caught him near USC, and it was a whole like story. If you do pick up the Blu-ray, the American Blu-ray, there is an interview we do for Fantasia where they actually have footage from the arrest of this gentleman. We call it the handsome felon story, because the guy gets out of the truck and he's like handsome, and we're like, did Brad Pitt turn to Life of Crime? I mean, like a crew like a Fight Club looking Brad Pitt with like very closely cut hair and this and that. But it's worth picking up if you like the movie so much, and a lot of horror fans like what is it called, physical media. Then it's worth picking up and watching that, because it's a hilarious interview, and it's like, and here's the thing: we didn't tell the cast, we didn't tell a lot of them, and they're just like, "What the fuck happened here?" You started just 1 hour later one day, but we didn't know why. We're like, this is why. So yeah.
So how hard is it as making a small film to be able to get Netflix, who is the #1 streaming service, I believe, to stream your movie?
It's very difficult. They rejected us twice, and they only picked us up because I think it was COVID, and they were worried about like their own being able to shoot things. But we did really well on TVOD, actually, and so we were like, look, here are the numbers. Look at this, and they were like, all right, we'll take it. We'll give you very little money, but we'll take it, So that's the reason. I think luck meets preparation, as they say. Whatever. We got lucky to some extent, because even now it's even more difficult to have Netflix actually pick up the movie, because they're really interested in the originals that they have paid for, right?
Yeah.
But again, I feel like right now we might be in a similar situation to what we were in COVID, because they've had to stop production on almost everything. And at a certain point, if they don't like ratify some sort of contract with the WGA, then, trust me, around August, they'll be picking up a lot of stuff, I have a feeling. But who knows if it'll get that far. We cannot predict that.
We cannot. That's out of our hands. So what was the inspiration for One Bedroom.
Well, our writer director David Marmor said that he felt like when he moved to Los Angeles, it's a very lonely city. And he was just like Sarah. He had a cat that wasn't supposed to be where it was, and he was always living in fear that the cat would get out. And people always hate the fact that spoiler alert, something happens to a cat in this movie. It's in the trailer, so I don't feel like I'm giving away too much. But people always hate us for like doing something to a cat. And
Yeah.
it was for him, it was the most traumatic thing he could, imagine was something happening to his cat. And
Yeah.
so that's why that scene's in the movie, for example. But he felt it was a very lonely city. He also was fascinated with cults, and so he had researched so many different cults. And the one people always say is, "Oh, it's Scientology." I
That's
mean,
what
I don't want to say it's Scientology because we don't want them coming after us. And
yeah.
they've been doing a lot of commercials recently,
They're
like
real-
on national TV. Like
yeah.
it's disconcerting, right? Oh, you don't know what Scientology is? Come check it out, right? But it's not exactly Scientology. It's like an amalgam of different cults. There's one it's more sort of close to in a sense. It's this cult called Synanon
Mhm.
that was a drug addiction. It was a drug rehab sort of organization that just got more cult of personality, and they started saying to themselves like, well, we don't think we can really cure you unless you live with us, and you guys stay with us forever. And at a certain point, they started shaving their heads. Like all of them started shaving their heads, and it was funny because they had moved up to Marin County, I want to say, and there was a little filmmaker named George Lucas who was shooting his first movie THX 1137 or whatever it is. And guess who a lot of the extras were? Because they had bald heads,
Wow.
and that's like, yeah. But some murders happened. They actually made a TV movie of the week kind of thing on NBC. And yeah, so I mean, if I was going to pick out one that had more sort of attributes to it, I would say that. But David studied all that stuff and was really into it, and so that's sort of what inspired the whole thing. A, his loneliness, and B, sort of his fascination with Southern California and really cults. Because a lot of people move out here and they think they're like the hottest thing because they were the number one good looking person in high school and acting or whatever, and then they find that they're not making it out here, and then they're lonely and looking for a family. And this is why things like, I don't know, not allegedly Scientology and different other things like this, other cults actually take off and succeed here. It's a weird thing here in Southern California. It really is.
It's just a sexist statement, but a 10 in Charleston, South Carolina is like a 4 in Los Angeles.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
100%. There is a thing when you talk about movie star good looking, head turning good looking. Like, I've seen it in real life. I mean, you when you see Margot Robbie like walking down the street, and you're just like, hey, who's, oh, that's Margot Robbie. Oh, she's gorgeous. I mean, she's just like, that is something.
Yeah.
And I look, I don't know how much is natural for all these people living here, how much is not. Probably not as much as it was before, but like there is definitely something to an LA 10 versus anywhere else in the world.
100%. 100%. So, all right. So, One Bedroom. I'm not going to give away the ending, but it leaves off with a cliffhanger. Will there be a sequel?
100%. We have a script, finishing the financing on it, and to shoot either this year or early next year. We want to bring it out either August of 2024 or maybe January of 2025.
Okay. Now, would it follow where the first one ended, or is this?
I cannot tell you one damn thing about it. And trust me, you wouldn't want to know. You'd want to look.
That's true.
You'll see the first trailer, and we'll hopefully cut a skillful trailer. Doesn't give away too much. I'm not even telling you who's in it. But look, we're very J.J. Abrams about this kind of shit. That's one thing we did learn from like testing movies is that you want to see what's in the box, you'll pay to see what's in the box. So why not just leave it completely secret, as much secret as it can be, and then when the first trailer comes out, you'll get some sort of like breadcrumbs, and then see from there what happens. But we'd rather you just come see it, and we're gonna have a theatrical release for it. That's what we really want to do. Yeah, that's what we're really very much planning to do. That we think there's a huge amount of awareness in the film. We feel like we're a different version of obviously we're not Terrifier 2, but we're like Terrifier 2 and that it had a lot of awareness, and that they actually made a really great second movie.
They did.
And you know,
Way better
the
than
thing about, yeah, better than the first. But I mean, look, All Hallows Eve was a piece of crap. The Terrifier 1 was good for what it was, and Terrifier 2 was really good. But I mean, 2.5 hours. Give me a break. We don't need that long movie. But
yes.
my point of all of it is that if you have awareness, then I think that, can you convince a million people to come see your movie? That equates to about $10 million. I think the answer is yes. I think that we can maybe convince a bit more, because we're not as polarizing, for example, as a Terrifier 2. We're more of a psychological thriller with elements of horror,
Yes.
and we actually skew older. I want to say, as far as who's really into the film, and I think that they're still moviegoers. They are still definitely moviegoers compared to the rest of them. So we'll see.
Right.
We have what I think is a tasteful horror thriller. Like, we're not too gratuitous with anything we do in it. It's violent where it needs to be violent. It's not overly sexual. It's not whatever. It's just a solid piece of. I mean, tooting my own horn now, but I tell you this because of the testing, right? And having done the testing, we know we had like a solid, tasteful thriller that people like, and that resonated with people to the point that they would watch it, maybe not only once but multiple times.
I watch many horror movies. That's why I do horror movie reviews, and one of the things I do on my channel. And this is definitely in the top. Like, it's definitely. I'll have to sit down at the end of the year and figure it out. But right now, my brain, this is in the top three. I mean, up there with.
Oh, that's very sweet of you to say. It's very sweet of you to say. Look, I mean, we were in the top 20 on Rotten Tomatoes for that year, right? Like, we knew we had done something right. And some of those movies aren't certified fresh, by the way. Just so you know, it's like a thing where they're like, 100%, 5 reviews, 100%.
Yes.
That's like,
All right. So, who is one horror movie director that you find inspirational? If you had to work with him, who would it be?
um, hmm. Oh my gosh. I mean, there are movie directors that I mean, movie dreams, but I don't think they're making movies anymore, unfortunately. I mean, John Carpenter. I mean, come on now,
Yeah.
him all day. But someone new, and it's funny. One of our executive producers is basically his main producer all the time. But Ty West is the director. But Peter Polk, who's a good friend of mine, and he helped us, so immeasurably with 1BR, and we're working on a project together with him, myself, and also Eduardo Sanchez, who was the director of Blair Witch. We're doing a television thing together already on the side over there.
Mhm.
But Peter's worked with him for years, and he's telling me Maxine looks really super cool, and
I'm looking for.
yeah. So I think I'd like to work with him. I've sort of seen his career kind of evolve, and I think he's doing interesting work. So that's the new guy I'd like to work with. The old guy I'd like to work with would be John Carpenter. Stanley Kubrick is dead, obviously, and
Yeah.
that's what it is. So
So, one iconic horror movie that right now, if you could any iconic horror movie, which one would?
I mean, the iconic ones, it's hard to want to remake them, because I invariably find they don't usually bring anything new to the table. Sadly, I mean, I thought that, like, for example, I thought the sequel to The Shining was good. I read the book, and I liked the book actually quite a lot, and I
Mhm.
think they did a decent job with that film. But like, nothing is ever going to be as good as that film. And I would tell you this. For me as a producer, I steer away from as our production company too, we steer away from wanting to remake things. We want to sort of make the new classics. Or if we're doing something that you've seen before, we wouldn't do a remake of it. We would do an idea that you haven't seen in a long time,
Okay.
right? That's what I would tell you. And that's what's, in terms of marketing, you want to do something original. If it's not original, have you seen it? How long ago did you see it? That's the
Yes.
main thing. Yeah.
Speaking of
So
Ty,
that's the answer to the question. I guess I don't want to do a remake if I can help it.
speaking of Ty West, I tell anybody like the movie X and Pearl, if you haven't seen those, there's some of the best horror movies ever made, originals. I mean, this might be one of the best horror trilogies out there.
I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, Pearl certainly got. I mean, fucking Martin Scorsese wrote a fucking article about how he loved fucking Pearl. Okay,
Pearl was,
fucking Martin Scorsese.
yeah,
All right. So look, yeah, that's the highest praise in my mind you can get. And
yes,
Maxine, if you look at the cast for that, it's insane.
it's
Look at the
insane.
cast. It's a great cast. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yes. All right. So how can we find you? Instagram.
1B_film is our
Okay.
Twitter. We're on Instagram, but it's just we don't look at the Instagram.
I,
Sorry, we're old, and I can only do
I
so
don't do
many
Instagram
things in my
either.
life. We if you look up 1BR for the film
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook, we have a Facebook page as well, and we if you engage us on the Facebook page and or
Okay.
Twitter even more so, it's fun. We treat the thing like it's a real cult actually on Twitter. Like we're always trying to invite people to the dinner party and stuff, and trust me, it's really kind of fun and insightful. And we even give like our thoughts on other horror movies and whatever. It's like we have almost 5,000 people, which is pretty decent for horror movies. Like usually, if you look at like even like not Get Out, but like Ready or Not or whatever, like none of
Yeah.
them have more than like 5 grand like followers and stuff. So we're actually doing pretty good for whatever we are. If you want to help us out, if you like the movie, do us a huge favor. Go on to Letterboxd, go on to IMDb, go on to Rotten Tomatoes. In fact, you can do this. Put one review on there, whatever site you're on, Letterboxd, cut and paste. Put the same review on fucking Rotten Tomatoes, on all of them, Tell a friend. That's a huge thing. Word of mouth is like one of the biggest
It.
things. It's better than any trailer I could pay to have cut, right? And by the way, our trailer was nominated for a Golden Trailer Award. The only independent film to be in that section, and we lost to the Joker. Okay, we were never going to beat the Joker, right? But it's a good trailer. So like, look, if people are more visual and you want to tell your friend, hey, this is a good movie, look at this trailer. Trailer gives away nothing. But I will tell you, people like it even more so if they go in cold and they haven't seen the movie and they literally go in and just watch it and know nothing about it, and they go in and just see it. It's a bit of a slow burn. First 20 minutes, a little bit slow, it's setting up some stuff, but then after minute 20, it just rock and rolls. It goes through, and I promise you, up until the end, you'll be yelling at the screen. You'll be like, you do that, whatever. You'll see. You'll see.
I went into this one, like I said, I talked to you. You sent me the link. I was like, oop, watched it. I did not know what to expect. I'm glad that I didn't do any research and walked in this completely blind. Walk into this completely blind. It is an amazing movie. Yeah, I don't say that often that a movie's amazing. This is a work of art. It's amazing.
Well, it's very sweet of you to say.
Yes.
Very sweet of you to say.
All right. Well,
appreciate you.
All right, well, thank you for coming to my channel, and I'll probably have you back next year when One Bedroom Part 2.
Yeah, I'm sure. Look, I know your podcast is going to blow up, so hopefully, you'll be able to like fit us in. You know what I mean? So, but look, it's been fun, and thank you, and I hope the audience enjoys the film, and I hope they enjoy this interview. And like I said, like we can always do a part 2. How about that?
Do part 2. 2 bedroom.
All right.
Right?
Yes. Everyone always says that. It's not going to be called that. It's never going to be called that. We're more clever than that. But listen, I do have to run, go pick up my child. So I have to go.
All right.
Cheers.
All right. Have a good one, my friend.
You too as well.